Welcome to Poland Daily Culture. I'm Paulina Odrstein.
And I'm John Carter.
And today we're at Immersion, a company based in Warsaw, Poland.
And we're going to show you all about the Polish role in the fascinating world of augmented reality and virtual reality.
So come and join us.
We're here today at the company Immersion, and I'm joined by the CEO, Mr. Piotr Baczynski. So you think this is the kind of thing that more and more museums are going to be doing in the future, and that maybe more of their exhibitions are going to be kind of immersive in that way?
I think so because it's so much easier. If you have virtual reality goggles on site, you need only some space for a person to move around, and then once they put the goggles in, you can create a whole world for them, right? You can teleport them anywhere. You can show them places which are not there anymore or are too dangerous to go to at this point. So we have full control over what they see, and I can't stress enough how important it is to let people interact with history. Because if you let them pick artifacts, if you let them participate in this story that you're telling, they will remember this basically forever.
Are there any other places that you could tell us about in Poland that have used this type of technology?
Well, virtual reality is, I would say that Poland is one of the countries where virtual reality is implemented quite quick. Basically, every major real estate developer has a virtual reality headsets that they use to present their apartments, their offices. There are some interesting projects. There was a project, one of the Polish companies created a full visualization of the Chernobyl, power plant, everything around it, so you could immerse yourself there. There are different projects where they show Polish cities in the past, especially in a country like Poland where so many things were destroyed. It is a precious item. So, and also in medicine, many companies are using this for training. So I think there's a lot of examples.
Why you mentioned that Poland is like maybe not leading the way, but like is maybe a little bit further ahead than some other countries. Now, why is that?
I would say there are several reasons. First of all, Poland is famous for their programmers and software developers. Mm-hmm. Poland has one of the best developers in the world, and maybe because of the weather, and people are spending a lot of time with their computers. There's lots of talent, and there's lots of gamers, and you could see the success of games like The Witcher and the City Project, and all those people, they have powerful PCs, they have interest. So if you look at how many Polish companies were able to do something in VR. I mean, one of the most popular virtual reality games in existence right now is a Polish game called Superhot, right? So I would say that in virtual reality gaming, we already have a company with a huge position. So this combination of talent, love of technology, brought us several very interesting companies. And when I'm speaking with producers of virtual reality hardware, the biggest companies like Oculus, HTC, Samsung, they really value Polish developers, very high.
Immersion is a Polish company based in Warsaw, Poland. It implements augmented and virtual reality technology in business and entertainment using all existing platforms. They create concepts and integration strategy, deliver full developed solutions, and assist in implementation and service. Their biggest projects include collaborating with HBO, NASA, HTC, Samsung, or the American Museum of Natural History.
How do you perceive that this type of technology might be used in more kind of practical terms? Because my estimation would be the average person has probably not experienced virtual reality or augmented reality, or if they have, it's just a sort of a one-off experience. So do you think it's going to be pervasive in the future?
Yeah, I think so. This is one of the challenges we had to face when we started the company, because virtual reality used to be expensive. It required a powerful computer, required a complicated set of hardware. The goggles were hard to set up, and this is why for a vast majority of population, it was very hard to become a virtual reality user. This is why at first we were mostly focused at clients that could basically have their own virtual reality headsets in their sales offices or museums or any institution where people come to and basically share the experience with their clients. But this is changing, and it's changing very fast. This year was a huge breakthrough year for us because the big companies that make virtual reality goggles, they released headsets that are fully autonomous, portable, and not that expensive. So, as the price goes down and the ease of use it's become so much easier to use them, more and more users will become interested. And I think this is one of the best years so far for the technology. And once that happens, there are many ways that virtual reality can be used. From the most basic, imagine you're thinking about going somewhere for your vacation. You can use virtual reality to basically visit those places before. You can go around the hotel and think whether it works for you, or is there a power plant hidden behind it.
I'm sort of imagining this kind of, when you use the Google Street Map or something, I'm going to imagine that's going to look quite sort of primitive in the future, where you have that kind of 360-degree photographed.
Sure.
Staggered perspective.
Yeah. And imagine that you could just freely walk around, and imagine that you want to visit, you want to go to a soccer game or any sports event. Instead of going there, you can buy a virtual ticket, put your virtual reality goggles on, and basically experience the whole game. Not only what's happening on the field, but also the fans around you, all the excitement. And this is already happening. There are companies in the United States that are already doing that. We were recording virtual reality videos of some of the biggest sports events in Poland, like KSW. And as the users will have goggles in their houses, their homes, that's where this becomes very interesting. But there are so many other ways. One of the most amazing experiences I had in virtual reality is basically when you meet another person in VR. So when you wear your goggles, you have your controllers, and you put yourself in a virtual reality conference room with another person. It's very different from any other type of communication, because you not only hear their voice, but you also see their virtual face, but you see their body language, you see how they use their hands, you see where they look, and this creates a different level of communication, which is very, very real. It's almost as real as an actual meeting. And I see that this will be also very interesting, because imagine that you can meet with your doctor in virtual reality, and you tell him that I have a shoulder pain, and then he tells you to move your hand this and that way, and he can immediately listen to what you're saying, and you get this next level of communication. Or education. Imagine that you'll be able to connect teachers with students all around the world in the same class, and they'll be able to see each other and show each other different stuff, and basically have this experience which is almost as real life. And I think this will be a huge change. This will allow for remote work. This will be another step in globalization. And I think one of the most important parts of virtual reality is training, because you can basically recreate any real life scenario. Let's say that there's a power plant or a factory, and you want to train your employees in how to use something. It's very expensive to turn the production line off. It's very expensive to turn the power plant off, and you have to have people on site all the time. With virtual reality, I can recreate the whole building, every button, every lever. I can create scenarios that would be impossible to recreate in real life, like fire, smoke, earthquake, and I can test the people and tell them what to do and train them, and then analyze what they did, where they looked, how long did it took them. And this is something that is really, really becoming a thing in the military, in heavy industries, and this is also one of the industries that we are strongly present in.
Thank you very much, Mr. Piotr Baczynski. Thank you for joining us at Poland Daily Culture.